How's everybody doing? This is Captain Brian Brown with your KentuckyLake.com tip of the week. And this week has to do with scents and where I believe they should be used, spots I don't think they have to be used as much, and the different types there are. First, there's different kinds out there. There's already worms and stuff that are already scented right from the manufacturer. There's other ones that aren't. A lot of jigs, the skirts and stuff don't have scents on them. Some of the trailer baits and stuff may, but scents are kind of a confidence booster for, I think, most people. Some people are just fine not using them. They don't believe they need to have them, and that's fine if that's what you get confidence in. There's other guys that it's 100%. If they don't have some sort of a scent on their bait or whatever, that they just don't have that confidence in their head, they're going to get bit. And basically the three different types you've got are like a jelly type, a kind that you kind of got to push the bait down into. It's kind of more of a pasty jelly type deal that when you stick your bait in it, obviously it gets that on there and you've got your scent on it. The other is your pump bottles that squirts more of a stream, maybe a little bit of a spray, more of a stream. They're more of an oily type of a base type scent. And then you've got your aerosol can type. Then this is a little bit more of an oil, but obviously is not quite as thick of an oil type bait as you're going to get in a straight stream type one. But the basis on these, I generally use them when I don't use them all the time, and when I do use them, it's more not really to attract fish over to a bait to get the bite. I use it more for a fact of if fishing conditions are tough, I'm using bottom contact baits, say like a jig, a worm, shaky head, even a drop shot, Carolina rig, anything like that where a bass is going to pick it up, hit it, and has to hold onto it before you're going to set the hook. I generally don't use them when I'm throwing a spinner bait, a swim jig, chatterbait, crankbaits, jerk baits, that sort of thing. 99% of the time I'm not going to use them then. And that's not saying that maybe on a crankbait or jerk bait that it doesn't hurt to have a little bit on there, like, especially even a topwater bait. Sounds funny, but even a topwater bait, when those fish come up underneath it and they just kind of hit it with their nose, but they're not really after it, you get a little bit of scent down there, and that the first time that fish hits it, they might blow it out, but then they're going to smell that scent. They may actually go and attack that bait and hold on to it longer. Same thing with a crankbait, even a spinnerbait, any of those moving baits. It's more of a reaction bite. They're not really trying to smell it to track it down. They already see it. They can feel it coming, hear it coming, and boom, they're going to go over and hit it. It's the baits that are on the bottom, and those fish go down and they look at it, and they've got more time to decide if they're going to eat it or not. And when they've got it, you're generally not feeling that bite right away. It's not like crankbait where they almost set the hook into themselves. A worm bite, shaky head bite, your jigs, Carolina rigs. You're throwing it out, you're feeling the bottom, you get that bite, you're kind of letting that rod load up and then setting the hook. And I really like to use it then because I believe what it does, it just gives me confidence that the fish, when they eat it, are going to hold on to it, and they're going to hold it long enough for me to get a hook set in them. Especially on really tough bites, or maybe really windy days when you got a bow in your line, you really can't quite feel that bite really good, you got to reel down again to make sure. That's when that fish is going to hold on to it longer, especially if you get those days, and we've all had it, you're throwing that worm out there, and you come in, and it's just been, you talk to your other guys, and it's all been saying the same thing. Boy, I had a lot of bites, they just didn't hold on to it. Well, I think that's where, a scented lure, your worms, your big bite worms, Berkeley, gosh, there's a bunch of different ones out there that all have scent in them already too, but a lot of worms out there don't. They just come, let's say Zoom, for instance, they don't come packaged with any scent in them. So having something you can put in there, you can just spray the worm while you put each individual one on. You can take any of these and squirt a little bit in the bag and already have that whole bag scented. But I believe if you go and try it, and not just for bass, I've seen it with crappie fishing, walleye fishing, any of the species out there, but definitely here in Kentucky and Barkley Lakes, bass and crappies, without a doubt, I would definitely have yourself some scent along, whatever you prefer. Try different ones. The Strike Force has probably been my favorite one that I've found overall. But get yourself some, try it.
and see if it doesn't make a difference, especially when you're fishing, your worms and your jigs and stuff like that. So that's your KentuckyLake.com tip of the week. This is Captain Brian Brown with FishingApe.com, Fishing Ape Guide Service, and look forward to seeing you on the water. Tight lines.